Hi, I'm William Neff, Local 768, Missoula, Montana. Well, I started out right out of high school, went to college for a year and a half, and wasn't real motivated, and then I got married and had kids, so college went away, and I did some various side jobs, and immediately before I got an apprenticeship, I was working at General Mills as a lab tech at a big plant that made cake mix and Cheerios.
It's so beautiful, you and me.
I wanted to make some more money, and I wasn't much of a future I was at, so I had an uncle that was a heavy equipment operator. He told me to go down to the lineman's local, because they're hiring people left and right, and see Carl Yenrick, and he'd give me a job. So I went on down and saw Carl and told him my uncle sent me down, I want to be a lineman, and he says, well, you got gloves and a lunch pail? And I said, well, yeah. So where are they? I said, home. He says, how are you going to work without gloves and a lunch pail? So he says, bring gloves and a lunch pail and you start tomorrow.
Like a bird on a tree.
Started probably 67, so what's that, 51 years?
That's 51 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, good liquid to IBEW. I've always been union. All my family were union. I was brought up in a union background, and so I appreciated the fact that I could go anywhere in the country with nothing but my dues receipt and maybe a letter of good standing, sign the books and get a job. And I have worked kind of all over the country. It's been a great thing. I've worked in the Virgin Islands and Alaska and multiple states in the lower 48. I don't believe that had been possible without my IBEW affiliation. Well, union people are usually the highest paid labor in the area. Union wages are kind of the standard of wages in the country right now, and Davis-Bacon Act reflects that, you know, on projects. But I've always made good money, and earlier on when I was younger, I chased overtime and made some great money. Alaska was unbelievable at the time, and it was the late 70s, and when I was up there mid 70s, and the scale was way over any place else in the country. And even now in Missoula, that's not known for its super high wages, we have a pretty good scale compared to local wages. You can do good here. Probably Willie Snooth. That's my Tim Snooth was my buddy, and Willie was his dad. And he was just an all-around neat guy. I've always been into cars, 60 miles from Detroit. And he'd go out west and work in Arizona or somewhere like that on a big powerhouse, and then he'd buy an old car and bring it back. And there were always these rust-free, really neat old Chevy and Ford trucks and stuff. And he had a big power boat with a 100-horse outboard on it, and took us skiing. And he was real instrumental in, you know, helping me out. Matter of fact, he recommended apprentice committee that I start out as a residential wireman. So, you know, start out in housing. So my first 2 years was wiring houses, and that wasn't a real popular thing in my history. But it gave me valuable experience that I used the rest of my life.
World seems small.
I had two sons that were IBEW electrician apprentices, and one was killed a couple years ago in an accident. Due to IBEW, my daughter was able to afford a little house, and she's pretty secure now. 2 little boys.
Forever free.
I'd like to be. I'd like to live long enough that Rosie has a new husband or boyfriend or something, so I know the boys are okay. Absolutely great. I love it. Everybody said, well, what are you going to do? What do you do? I don't really have any hobbies. I tinker all the time. I've got a cabin in the mountains I'm always working on, but I don't collect model airplanes or anything. So now I have to make lists to remember everything I do every week, and I never finish my list. The difference is it's all stuff I want to do. If I don't want to do nothing, I sleep in and don't do nothing. It's absolutely great. Well, I think I get 3 pensions from the IBEW. I get that little 8 district, I get the international, and then there's that little years accumulated or something. And then that comes appropriately the last working day of the month. Then the other one comes on the first of the month. So that covers all my bills. And then my Social Security doesn't come till second Wednesday, and that's fun money. Worked out real good.
That's awesome.
I don't know I ever found time to work. I loved it all pretty much. I enjoyed the union meetings even. Local 8, Toledo, used to throw a huge Christmas party and play cards all night, eat pretzels, drink beer, smoke cheap cigars, or good cigars sometimes. And I've enjoyed all the work. I've done everything from residential to nuclear powerhouse to the pipeline, and last 20 years of my career I did service work. Fixing toasters for old ladies.
Time, it's clear to see.
Well, the basic question first would be, you know, are you fairly handy with your hands? Do you like physical labor? Some people do, some don't. If you can't even stand to change the gas on a lawnmower or something, maybe you shouldn't be work with your hands. If you're going to work with your hands, a lot of people do. Electrician's a lot of fun. It's hard work, it's not brutal work. Huge variety, endlessly in demand. The scope is broadening all the time, low voltage. I also am a certified instrument tech, and I used to do refinery turnarounds. And they'd shut down the cat crackers for a couple of weeks and redo everything up to snuff on it. And unlimited overtime and really good work. So that's just another division of the IBEW.
From a distance you can tell.
And as far as if you're going to work, you might as well be union. You know, it's common sense that more people together, a bigger pool has more strength over everything than does one person alone. That's why they form support groups and all these other silly groups that form. The Bar Association, the MDIM Doctors Association, everything. Everybody forms a group to protect themselves from everybody else, and that's what unions do. There's nothing bad about a union at all.
Forever free.
I've really enjoyed my career as a union. I tried to get out a couple times in the middle and did different stuff, and I always gravitated back to the union. And I'm really glad now, worked enough hours that I kept my benefits up, because there'd be periods of time where I didn't do much except sit on my butt. But I did go to work enough to complete my hours and maintain my benefits. But if you like to work with your hands and you want to see a lot of interesting stuff and make some good money, get an apprenticeship, be an IBEW electrician. I guess that's it.
Small, we can sit together. It's so beautiful, you and me. We meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. Sometimes you need to go and take a step back distance you can tell. You and me were meant to be.